Hi there, welcome back to another Flutter tutorial, and it's still Nelly to take you through on IT Genius Cyber. And last time we looked at how to navigate to different pages in Flutter using a bottom navigation bar, and we are successfully navigating from one page to another using the index of each and every bottom navigation bar item correspondingly. But today we're actually going to be looking at how to add images in Flutter, or how to insert images in containers, in different widgets, maybe a circle avatar. I suppose we have not looked at circle avatar yet, but yeah, stay tuned. We're actually going to be looking into that as well. But before we go into that, I want to modify our navigation bar because the user cannot tell whether we are actually shifting from the home screen or the home page to the payment screen. Apparently it is like we are having static colors for the icons on our navigation bar. So what we are going to do, we are going to modify our controller. Okay, so inside our controller, the dot right here, we have our bottom navigation bar items as well. We have the home, we have the payment screen, we have the profile screen, as they are listed here in the list of pages. So what we're going to do, we are going to modify the color of the icons. Once I tap the next index according to the index of the bottom navigation bar, I want its color to be changing apparently according to the index that I've actually clicked on. So apparently the color of the home, let's first go back here. Okay, on the home screen, the color of the home icon, it's in purple by default, but we don't need to worry about that. If I'm just to change the color just like this, okay, that is red. So maybe I'm going to use red apparently. So if I shift from the home screen to the payment screen, I need also this to change to red and this back to black. So that's the argument I'm actually going to use. We can use an if statement to do that, but there is a more appropriate way we can use, maybe using booleans. I suppose we looked at booleans when we were looking at fundamentals time back then. Or we can use a simpler method. Let me just erase this. So what we're going to do is if I'm going to call the color property here, just like this. So instead of calling colors.red, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to call the current index, which is the selected index. So I'll copy this. The selected index is 0. That's why we're having the home screen first whenever we reach on the tab controller. So I'll get the selected index. I need to get a selected index, and this equals to the current index. So I need to check if the selected index equals to 0, which is the home screen, right? If it equals to 0, then I need this color to change apparently. So I'll just get my color dot red. Okay, so if it equals to 0, then please change the icon color to red. Otherwise, give it another color, maybe colors.black, isn't it? Something like this. So the color is changing according to the selected index. So if the selected index equals to 0, right, then please give me the true value for the color as red, right? Then later, if it's not if it's not 0, then return black, isn't it? So if I click on payments, that means this color of the icon on the home, it should change to black, isn't it? So that's what I want to check. Okay, so I'll do for the rest as well. I'll come here to color. For the icon in payments, I'll say I'm also getting the selected index. If selected index equals to 1, because apparently this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So if it is 0, if it is 1, sorry, I'll get colors.red as well, or you can select any color you want accordingly, or color is equal to black. Just like that. Okay, so the selected index accordingly is 1. That's why we're on the payment screen, and the icon is apparently red, isn't it? So if we shift back to the home screen, this becomes red, this turns back to black, isn't it? That's what we want. Then also here we shall get, I'll just copy this not to do repetition, and I'll change here to 2. So if the selected index of this icon is 2, then change its color to red, otherwise black. And that's it. So if I click the payment screen, it will change to red, the rest to black. If I click this, it will change to red, the rest to black. Just like that. Okay. So that is done. So we shall navigate back to our home page. Let me just delete this. I don't need this as well. I don't need the profile as well. Yeah. So we're on the home screen apparently. So we are going to design our home screen, and before we do that, I suppose we need to make some little changes. So what we shall do is I'll remove this. I'll remove this title. And call for actions as well. Then actions shall have, I'll call it circle avatar. Okay, which is right here. And I'll remove this debug. So I go into home.dat, then we go to material up, then we say debug. We remove the banner, we put false. So it is off, something like that. Then, okay. All right, so down here we shall create something, let's say maybe a search area in case we want to. And before we do that, which app are we creating actually? Because this is all coming from the head. Okay, let's say maybe it's a hotel management application, maybe something like that, isn't it? Yeah. So we shall go into our body. That is a scaffold down here, then we create a body right here. So I'll call for a column. The right children. Okay, let me just make this a little bit down so that we can view well. So inside here we shall bring a container. I'll give it height. Give it a height, and it will be maybe 50. Width. I'm going to take the max width. So this is what I want. Maybe if I say media query, of context. Sorry, I would say that size dot width. Okay, so take the maximum width of the entire application. Okay, so I'll try giving it a color cut property. then I'll give it blue gray. Doesn't seem nice, but let's first go with that. So I'll give it a decoration, a box decoration. Inside a box decoration, I'll call for border radius. So border radius dot circular. Then I'll call maybe 15. And we can't put color outside a box decoration, so I'll put it inside here. Sorry, Control V. Okay, something like that. It looks a little bit so much stressed. Okay, so we shall get our column and give it a padding, isn't it? Shall give it a padding, just like that. Okay, that seems nice. And this looks a little bit big, so I'll give it 30. Or more small, 40. Okay, maybe that. So within this container, I'll shall create a child and call for text, then call it search. Okay, I think we should put it in a row here. Yeah. So I'll provide a row. I'll wrap this in a row, and a first call for an icon for search. Icon. Such icon, and just like that. Okay, so I need to space them. So I'll call main axis alignment or space evenly. Okay, space evenly maybe. Oh, sorry. Let us use space around, isn't it? Yep. I'll change the color of this. Before we change color, this doesn't seem so nice. Use space between. Okay, space between is perfect. Yeah. So space between. I'll also give it. I don't want it to be so much on the border, so I suppose I'll give a padding to this row. So give a padding, and I will not give it this. I'll say dot symmetric. Call for horizontal. I need to change the horizontal alignment accordingly. So I'll give this maybe 5. Okay. Or maybe a little bit more. 8. Okay, that seems nice. Okay, and we shall need to change this maybe. Okay, maybe something like that. All right, so below we shall put our containers, which we're actually going to maybe insert images. Yeah, but maybe before we actually call for this search area inside this column, I suppose let me see. Okay, before we call this, I'll say hello, maybe a text, something like that. Call for text and say maybe say hello Nelly, something like this. Oh, we close like that. And we need this at the start, yeah, apparently. So inside the column we shall call for another alignment, main axis alignment dot start. Okay, let's start starting from the top. Then if we need from the margins, we shall call for cross axis alignment. It calls for cross axis alignment dot start as well, and that is good. And we shall put a spacing. We shall call for a size box. There is something new I actually wanted to as well introduce here. It is called a gap, but maybe we shall be looking more into that in the next tutorial. Otherwise, I can also introduce this. What you need to do is you go here and call for pub.dave. We get a dependency called gap. It's right here. So we call for installation. So instead of using just a size box each and everywhere, so a gap is very more nice that we can actually get to know that you're dealing with a column or a row, and it actually puts the right correct spacing accordingly to where you call for it. Yeah, so we shall go into the installation side and Flutter pub add gap. So we go into our terminal and we type this, then pop. Let's add it. Okay, it's added. Okay, once it's added, so instead of using just a size box to create a spacing between hello Nelly and this search area, we shall just call for a gap, and it will actually decide for us that please if you're putting a spacing between this and your column, I'll put a specified height. Yeah, so we need to import the package. It's imported and it's right here. Okay, so when we scroll back here down, gap calls for one argument, which is an integer, right? A double, sorry. So we shall give it maybe like a 10, and it creates more space vertically because we are originally in a vertical space, yeah, of a column. If we are dealing in a row, it will actually create a horizontal space in between the widgets, you know. So that's nice about it. So we proceed. So below this, this is a search area. So this container. So after this, shall create our containers with images, just like that. So down here we shall maybe first sample with a container, just a normal container, and I'll give it a decoration. I'll give it a box decoration, and I'll give it color initially. Colors dot maybe deep orange, okay. And I'll give it a height. So the height, I'm going to get it from the maximum height is what I'm going to use, and maybe divide it accordingly, and the width as well. So we're going to do, oh sorry, height should be outside that decoration. So I'll call height, and I'll call the maximum height, which I should call the media query. So instead of maybe calling this media query all the time, let us try to be more neat. Let me just put this drawer here. Okay. Let's try to be more neat. So what I'll do, I'll come here inside this build context. I'll call, maybe I'll say final, or not even final. I'll just save. Let me just call the specific variable max height. Max height. It's going to be media query sort of context. Dot size. Dot height. Then I'll also create a variable for max width. Max width, which shall be equal to media query dot size dot width. Okay. So after that, so come to here, height, I'll call the maximum height for our device. Then I'm going to divide it by, let's say, if this is a maximum height, 1, 2, 3, maybe by 3, isn't it? Yeah, and width, I'll take the maximum width, maybe divide it by 2, because it's a little bit small. And after that, I'll give a border radius. Circular, and I'll give it maybe 20. Okay, let's see how it looks like. Okay, something like this. This looks a little bit big, but it's okay. Yeah, so maximum height divided by 3. If you divide 3 times the maximum height, you get this. This is really so good because it helps you not to have overlaid heights according to where you're going to install your device from, right? So I'll make this yeah, maybe by 4. It looks nice there. Okay, and in between here I'll call for a gap. I'll give it 10. So I need a spacing here. Okay, that's nice. So we're actually going to try to put an image inside here. That's what we're going to do. So before that, we shall remove the color, and inside our decoration we shall call for, let me first remove the color. Call for an image. Actually, there are many ways how we can actually insert. Either we can use a box decoration and we insert apparently how I'm going to do here, or we can actually create a child for that container. Then we make that child fill up according to the box size of your container or of your widget. Yeah, but apparently we are going to first use this, then maybe we shall do the other option later. So what we're going to do is that we shall call for image, and the image property calls for a decoration image. So this calls for a decoration image, and within a decoration image we have an image property as well, and this is an image provider that calls for an image, isn't it? So we shall call for an asset image. But before we go into asset images, we have to make sure that we put the correct asset image, which is in our pubspec.yaml. But if you haven't done that yet, which I'm sure we have not done yet, so what we shall do is that this is the URL section of the image bundle, right? So let me first repeat again. This is an image property that calls for a decoration image, and a decoration image is responsible for calling up an image provider, right? And this image provider is having a URL section for where your image is located. So this is the image location, to something like that. So before we do that, we have to create the image location. So we shall call for maybe a new folder here, and we shall call it images. Then here we shall put our images correspondingly. So we shall get any image, maybe say go to Google and search for any image, maybe hotel. Images. Okay, we have nice ones here. Okay, we can get these. Let me try saving this. Let me call this hotel 1. And I want a .png. Okay, we can get another one. Let's say here, save image. I shall call this hotel 2. I want PNG. However much you can change, either JPEG or whatever you want. Use PNG, then I'll get a third one, maybe. Show more images. There are more nice images over here. Okay. Oh, this looks so beautiful. Let's get this. Make this hotel 3.png. one more. Okay, maybe this. Say hotel 3. Oh, sorry. Is it hotel 4? .png. Okay, I suppose those are enough. So I'll navigate to my area of where downloads, and I have my hotel 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'll copy this and transfer them to my folder for images. And another thing we need to make sure of is that we need to access the location of the assets that we're actually creating in our code. So we go to pubspec.yaml file, then we highlight this. We shall highlight that, and we shall change this location. That we actually want to get not a specific file. You can list this, the file's locations as stated here, that images, then dot blah blah blah, but we don't have this. Maybe it's a hotel1.png, something like this. That means that this hotel1.png is going to be accessible accordingly to the specified location, right? So whenever you call for this asset image, it will actually be retrieved back, isn't it? Yeah, but since that I want the entire folder of the images, so I'll say that please access for me the entire assets within the images folder, something like that. Okay, so I have to save here, but I haven't saved yet. Why? Because I don't want to get errors for this, because I've not put the correct location. So I'll first comment this down, then I go to my pubspec.yaml, and I'll have to save changes. So let us first wait. Okay, so when this is done, we shall go back here. Shall go back to the home page, and usually after adding my assets, whenever you add a new asset file, you have to run Flutter pub-get to get all those packets that you've actually added, or packages. So I'll say Flutter pub-get. However much in pubspec.yaml, whenever you save, it automatically runs the Flutter pub-get. Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that it's correct. Okay. I suppose okay, it's still there, just that we had removed the color. So maybe we are going to remove the color later. So I'll uncomment this down. Then I'll put my location of my image that I really want. So I'll say inside my images, I'll have hotel1.png with its corresponding file extension, just like this. So I'll try to save, and boom, it will be just like that. Okay, so I've left this orange color to show you that this image is not actually taking the maximum space of the container. But how do we do that? We come here in the asset image file, then we have another property that is called inside box decoration. So let me just put this down here. Inside decoration image, we have a property called fit, or box fit actually. So when you call for fit, calls for box fit. So we are fitting whatever we have for our image. So we are fitting it accordingly to either contain, and we are saying this is let me first put this right here. Box fit, we have dot contain, and this our box should be inscribed into another box, right? Then we having dot cover, dot fill, dot so with dot contain, as large as possible while still containing the source entirely within the target box. So that is dot contain. We can have a look at it. So when I save, it looks like that. Then when I say dot maybe cover, it's going to cover the entire box just like that. Yeah, and when I say dot fill, it stretches and fills the entire spacing. Yeah, something like that. How much I usually prefer dot cover. Okay, something like that. So that looks a little bit nice. Okay. So something else we need, I suppose this is okay. Okay, we can put maybe a shadow, a box shadow right there if we need to. So this color is not usable again, so we can just let go of it. Then we can go into maybe creating a box shadow, and the box shadow calls for a list of box shadows. I suppose we looked at this as well. Yeah, so apparently it's empty, so I'll give it a color. So give it a color, maybe say gray. Oh, sorry, this is colors.gray. Let's give it an offset, I suppose. Yeah. Or we can actually give it a blur radius. Maybe it's a 5. Okay, something like that. Let's step this down. We can also give it a spread radius. Maybe 10. So apparently that's how we put an image in a, oh god, spread radius is actually so wide. Yeah, it is not so correct. So I give it maybe like 5. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that is okay, maybe. Okay. So that is how we put images in a box or in a container, whatever it is. Yeah. Then something else we're going to try is I'll create a row. I'll change this into a row, or maybe what we're going to do is, let me think of something else. Okay, so let's try to find another way how to insert images in case if we are not having asset images, right? And that is called a network image. In case we don't have the assets within our code, apparently, so what we do, we get images from an outside source, and that is outside your code, and that is a network image. So we shall try to create a container here as well. Maybe let's say to try a different concept. So should I just create a row? Okay, let me just create a row here, and for this section I'm just going to create a row, and it's going to be a row, and I'll put in an image. So I'll call for another container, and within this container I'll say let me just create, okay, I'll say decoration, box decoration, and I'll give it border radius, the circular, so I'll give this as well maybe 20, and I'll give it a height of, I would say here. Before that, I'll give it, let me first give it a color so that I see it. Color is that red maybe. Then after that, I'll give it a height, and I'll say please whatever the maximum height is, sorry, the maximum height, you divide by 4 as well, and the width is going to be maybe a maximum width, maybe I'll divide by 2.4. Okay, let's say 2. Okay, oh, 2 doesn't fit. Yeah, so actually call for a list. I want to make them scrollable, so what I'll do, I'll wrap the entire row into a container first. Yeah, I'll wrap the entire row into a container, and I'll give it, let me first give it a color, dot blue. Let's first see how it looks like, and let me give it a height, and I'll say max height divided by maybe 3.8, because I don't want it to be on the same level as the other containers. Okay, something like that. So after giving it like that, then I need to give its child, instead of calling a row, I'll call for a list, view. Yeah, I suppose we looked at list views maybe somehow, but in case we didn't do so, then we're actually going to get more lessons about list view and list builders. Yeah, so initially a list view has a scroll direction as vertical, so I need to scroll them horizontally, so I'll change the axis. It's called scroll direction, so I'll change the axis to horizontal, something like that. and boop, we no longer have the error message. So I go ahead and remove the color. I don't need it, and I'll put a spacing in between. I'll put a spacing in between these two. So I'll come here and say, please provide a gap that is maybe 5 in between. So this is scrollable, and that is so nice. Okay. Then inside here, we want to check for a network image for this respective one. So I'll say instead of calling a decoration image within it, what I'll do, I'll use another concept here that we can try. We can try using an asset image. So initially we used a decoration image, and we called image property and called an asset image. Or usually you can just call directly the asset image, say image.asset, then here you provide your respective image URL. This is hotel2.png. Okay, and it happens to be like that. Then we put box feet. Okay, this same concept can be actually applied there. Otherwise, I want to use a network image, so I'll call for image.network. So image.network, here we need a source for the file that you actually want to retrieve. So instead of just calling a direct asset image here, you need to upload this image somewhere on a network so that you actually get the network URL. So I'm just going to maybe here, let's say I want maybe I want this. So I'll click and copy the image link. So I'll come here and insert the link just like that. Oops, it seems a little bit pig. Oh, let me see. Was it this? Okay, let's try. Oops. Okay, we have an error here. I suppose the image link is actually false. So what we should, oh god, this is really so false. No image link that actually looks like this. This is really so false. Okay, so I'll say Control Z. Okay, let me find another image. Let's say image link. Let me see how this looks like. Okay, this looks okay. Let me see. Okay, Control S. Oops. Let's first restart this application and try to see. I suppose this is really working out. Yep. Yeah, it's working out. We only needed to restart. So what I mean is, You got the image link. I'll put it over here. Just like that. So that's how it looks like. Okay. So that is having an image from a URL section. Yeah, and you can also resize it in case you want to. So put a comma here so that this goes down. Then I'll actually have a feet here. Here we have box feet. We have feet. So we shall go for box feet. Dot cover. Let's save and see what happens actually. We need a comma here. Okay, so that's how it looks like. Box feet dot cover. So this is our image. This is how it looks like. If I'm putting the child of the image within a container, that's how it looks like. Then something else about the image as well. We have seen how to resize them, but more so there is another way how to actually put an image accordingly, and it's resizing. You see, we had initially our container having corners, but when we put dot cover, it's actually covering the entire corners of the container or the border radius, right? So sometimes to get rid of that, let's just try to create another container here, and let me just copy this up. Let's say this is a network image 1. This is image 3. Okay, so I'll paste that. So instead of just calling let me see. Instead of just calling image.network as a child directly, we can actually wrap this into a widget called ClipRRect. What ClipRRect actually helps us, it actually helps us to give an appropriate border radius to any child we actually assign it to. So what we shall do, we shall give it the same border radius of the container, and we shall say border radius dot circular, which is 20. So we shall resize it like that. Or apparently, instead of actually even just putting this, what we shall do is I suppose, oh god, let's copy up the ClipRRect and we call it over here directly. Let's try that and see. Okay, this is a third one. Yeah. So the difference with a ClipRRect, it actually gives us the maximum width, the maximum sizing of the child that you actually assign it to. Remember, for this one that we created up here, it's actually having a dot cover, right? And it's actually into a container which is having a maximum height divided by 4, which is the same as this one, and it's not taking in the radius, right? But if we try to change here for the second one, maybe box fill dot fill, let's see what happens for this one. See, it fills, but still it's not giving us the border radius, right? So, and this sizing of this first image is not the same as the sizing of the third image, isn't it? So if we try to maybe, let's say we get a different image instead of this. So what we shall do is let's see. We get another one, I suppose. Let's say this. Shall I copy the image link? Instead of using this, oops, I'll say I'll paste this here. Okay, different image. So I think it's better us using a ClipRRect because it gives us the maximum sizing of the image. Yeah. So there are two or three different ways how we can actually use image sizing and maybe calling out for them. Yeah. So apparently I'll stop here, and maybe in the next tutorial we shall look at how to deal with list view and maybe creating a list view builder, and this will actually help us not to over call for same widget all the time. In case we need this this kind of widget, the first one, we shall actually use a builder to build this respective image as many times as we actually need in this list. So I'll just create a gap here and I'll give it 10. The gap, let's say, okay, just like that. That's nice, and I suppose that is okay. Yeah. Oh, we can actually get this ClipRRect. Create another one. Let's say container, and we give it a child. We give it this. Then something like that. Then okay. Then here we can decide maybe putting border radius for this container or not, and also give an asset image or a network image, whatever you want, something like that. So thanks for watching, and I'll wait for the next video. Thank you.